So just finished watching Super Bowl 59. They just did the ceremony for the Eagles, who won Super Bowl 59, beating the Chiefs. It was 40 to 22. That final score is not indicative of how the game actually was, man. It was 34 to nothing by the end of the third quarter. Just a dominant performance by the Eagles. It was just a real stunner. As they slowly in the first half, as they slowly started to go up more and more, 14 nothing on the pick six, 24 nothing, you realize that holy shit, Chiefs are in some big trouble. But still, man, you always say to yourself the magic the Chiefs have had over the last few years that they can overcome this. They've overcome double digit deficits to win their two Super Bowls, but at a certain point, the lead just got to be too much where, even with sort of their garbage time touchdowns at the end, it was still a big time win by the Eagles, who just dominated this game defensively, offensively, total team effort, unbelievable. Jalen Hurts was your Super Bowl MVP. He had a really solid game all around in terms of throwing the ball. He had I think he sealed the MVP on that absolute bomb he threw when they were already up big. But that bomb he threw to Devontae Smith, that was just like the whoa, game sealed right there. That was an unbelievable play. But he had a solid day throwing the ball, running the ball, three total touchdowns when you include in the air and throwing. He had a really good performance. And him as the MVP is just like you just silenced a whole lot of doubters in terms of people who, didn't think he had the arm talent to win, be a Super Bowl, that kind of like level franchise quarterback. Even though he had an unbelievable performance in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago when they lost to the Chiefs, but he was just steady and just, he righted the ship in this game right here. He played a really good game, but, with him as quarterback and the way that defense played, they were unbelievable. And the Eagles, talk about redemption for again losing that close Super Bowl a couple years ago against the Chiefs. It was a great game. This year, though, I think everyone recognized them as one of the better teams in the NFC. But did I see a championship against the Chiefs? The going for a three-peat Chiefs? No, I did not. But they just showed that all around, man, they had the tools to win it. Great wide receivers, great offensive line, the defense. Obviously, the addition of Saquon Barkley as their running back really powered them through the regular season. He had an MVP caliber season. But this game wasn't about Saquon, man. This was about the total team effort from the Eagles. They just showed just unbelievable team effort and really dominating this game. And I hate to always make things about the Cowboys, but it really just shows how lackluster the Cowboys have been in the 21st century, man. The Eagles, like four Super Bowl appearances, two Super Bowl wins. The team's just been truly dominant and sort of highlights how bad that Cowboys organization has been. But enough about those losers. Let's talk about the losers of the actual Super Bowl, the Chiefs, man. This was just a total stunner. The Chiefs have just had this magic in these last few years. Oh, and when they won their first Super Bowl, with Mahomes, Kelsey, head coach Andy Reid, where they just have this magic of being able to overcome anything, slow starts, just making clutch plays, everything. But in this game, because they were getting dominated by so much early, there was just too much for them to overcome at the end to where don't let those garbage time touchdowns at the end of the game fool you with that final score. This was absolute domination on the level of Seahawks Broncos over a decade ago, where that score is just like a huge shutout, with like 40 to nothing. Like I said, this one was like 34 to something after they Hurts hit Devonta Smith for that bomb. So it was crazy, man. But it was just a stunner from the Chiefs. Just like I said, that magic and everything they have, Mahomes going for the three-peat, the team trying to make history, and just the way it happened in this game, it's like, wow. And it shows that football, man, it's a game that can really break your heart. 2 years, you just feel unbelievable with these wins, clutch performances in the playoffs. You have the whole world riding high. You got the Swifties on your side, everything. But then you come to a game like this, and just everything can go bad at a point to where they just weren't able to really get it going when it mattered, and it just got dominated, thoroughly. And with Mahomes, the guy is unbelievable quarterback. This isn't taking away anything from him. I do think people were probably ready to crown him as the greatest of all time had they won this game. And you certainly would have had a very valid argument. I might have made it too. Just having a three-peat, something that hasn't been done in NFL history, just doesn't even make sense when you say it. Three straight championships in this sport of football, that would have been just a crazy accomplishment. But it just shows how hard it is to do. I mean, it's unbelievable they even got to that point where they had the opportunity to three-peat. What it means for the team going forward. It's a team where the AFC has no shortage of elite quarterbacks that they have to continuously go through with Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. So the team's gonna, still be a contender as long as Mahomes is there. I don't think Andy Reid's retiring this year. Kelsey's getting a bit older, and you see that he's just not able to have those like dominant performances that you can, rely on. He can be really good in spots, but he showed in this game that he just wasn't able to really get things going when they really needed it to. So, Chiefs doesn't take away from what they've done the last really since Mahomes has been a starter. They're definitely a dynasty. When you mean three championships in a small amount of years, three championships in 5 years, and then in total, five Super Bowl appearances, absolute dynasty. But obviously, had they won this game, this would have been the absolute cherry on the top for them being the greatest dynasty of all time, doing something that no one else has ever done before. It would have been just a crazy accomplishment. So they don't have that. Super Bowl championship belongs to the Eagles. It's crazy to see with, head coach Nick Sirianni, man. I remember that first press conference of his. I was just like, this guy is going to be a head coach. And I still think he just sucks at the podium. He's just not I don't think he's a very good speaker. But you can criticize him all you want to. I've certainly have at times. It's just his decision making when it comes to going for it on fourth down. I think at times in the season he puts his team in really bad spots. But it shows that in this time being a coach, man, the guy has just a great record in terms of the wins he's been able to get, in terms of the team wins, total wins in the playoffs, two Super Bowl appearances. It was actually crazy to think about how there was real talk about him getting fired after last season, after they had such a great start, but kind of collapsed at the end of the season. But it shows that this guy, he's able to push the right buttons and he knows what he's doing. So that's a team that definitely earned this championship with a dominant performance, played unbelievable throughout, and they are your Super Bowl champions. So that puts a wrap on the 2024 NFL season, another fun season. It would have been, I'm not going to lie, even though it does seem like, well, it doesn't seem like there is a lot of people that just hate the Chiefs. It seems like there was a movement to go against the Chiefs in this game. I didn't really have a rooting interest either way. I thought it would have been actually pretty cool to see history gotten made. With the Super Bowl, I'm just always rooting for a good game. We certainly did not get that in this one. Obviously, there's the wow factor behind seeing the Chiefs being down 34-0. But once you get to the fourth quarter and the game's just not really in doubt, I mean, for fuck's sakes, they put Kenny Pickett in the final 5 minutes. It's just like, ah, man. I'm always hoping for those classic games. The past couple of years, we've had some great games with the Chiefs, man. Chiefs Eagles a couple of years ago was fantastic. Chiefs Niners last year, fantastic. Another Super Bowl going to overtime. Would have been really cool to see a classic game, another classic game. That's always fun in the Super Bowl. We definitely didn't get that in that, but there's no guarantees what kind of game you're gonna get in the Super Bowl. So yeah, that puts a wrap on the 2024 NFL season. Another fun season of football, and the Philadelphia Eagles are your 2024 NFL Super Bowl champions.